Hello everybody, happy Sunday. It's been a couple weeks. Glad to be back here. So we've been off for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, thank you for that space. Had some good things. Couple things going on personally that I did that were really good. And yesterday we had the Holistic Health Fair here in town, here in Holland. We have 2 of these shows a year right here in my town where there's all kinds of vendors with different services and products and just a ton of different vendors, and it's really a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people, had some good conversations, and yeah, always thankful for being able to connect and network with people. So anybody that's new here tonight, hi, welcome. And everybody else that's here, welcome back. Here we are. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the intention up for this week. If you don't know, the intentions come out on Friday, so that way you can sit with it for a little while yourself before we come to this space. I like to release them on Fridays, so that way you have them ahead of the weekly video that comes out Saturday. You can sit with the phrase while you go through the whole week. This week's video was pretty long. It was definitely one of the longer ones that we have, but there's quite a few aspects to go through for the full video. We won't necessarily touch on all of them here today, but yeah, that weekly video comes out Saturday, and so you have both the intention and then the full video ahead of this meditation to set you up for the week. And you know, I've said this before, but really my goal is to give you a bit of a process, give you a step-by-step or you know, a ritualistic process of some kind where you can go through these steps on your own with the things that are provided, and think about the energies. Think about what is out there. Think about the planets and how they are coming together and what they are describing. You know, the archetypes, when they combine, they create different possibilities and different reflections of energies that are around us all the time. The energies are always there, but they shift and they present a little bit differently depending on the you know, the aspects that are there. And when we have a process that we go through with the astrology, when we you know, work with it in multiple ways or lean into it or look at it in different ways, you start to create a little bit of a conversation between you and the astrology, you and the universe. And really, astrology is giving us invitations to reflect on different combinations, different possibilities, times to reflect on those things and times to see how it's playing out in our life and how it feels like we can connect to it at that time. So the hope is that through the process, by the time you get to the quiet meditation, you will feel like you are cultivating some sort of connection with the astrology and with what the planetary combinations are describing and the symbolism that is behind them. It can give us really good reflection points, and when you know, when we start reflecting on these things around the same times that they are playing out within our lives, right? We see them. It's a symbolic language, but we see it playing out very literally. You can see it when you are aware of it. And building this relationship is part of creating that awareness. So just looking to create deeper connections and deeper relationships with what is what's reflected in the sky. So this week's intention: soulful embodiment is abundant. Soulful embodiment is abundant. Now, I even thought about removing the last part, but I left it because that's what just came through originally, and I try not to edit it once I land on a phrase. So I was thinking just soulful embodiment even. So you can use the whole phrase, you can edit it. I've said that before too. You can change this phrase. This is not the only phrase that we could come up with, right? Just how there's you know, multiple ways any planetary transit can play out. You could come up with just as many different phrases, right? Many intentions. So you can play with it a little bit. I am playing with almost just the first two words there, soulful embodiment. But the is abundant part, that's me ushering it in. That's me inviting that soulful embodiment, right? So when you think about these words, when you hear these words, what do they make you think? What do they make you feel? Is there anything that comes up for you? Is there any thoughts, feelings, emotions, anything that it makes you want to move towards or anything that it makes you want to move away from? Just seeing if there's anything that comes up when you bring these words into your own space. Soulful embodiment is abundant. So, we have several transits this week, including the Taurus full moon, that I feel brings forward these words, soulful embodiment. The reason I'm wondering, like, if when we add the abundance piece on the end of it, like that definitely brings in a positive connotation and feels like it kind of ushers and brings it in a little bit. But not everybody might feel that way, right? Not everybody might be experiencing a reality that feels like there is soulful embodiment. So if we stick with just the first two words, then we'd start to bring that idea just more into our realm. Rather than forcing it to be right here, it feels like it's a little bit, like it's not space invading, right? Like it's not like, it just gets you to start thinking about that type of feeling and what that feels like and what that makes you think of. If it's abundant for you right now, great. If you want to bring it in, is growing in abundance would be another good one, and that works for Taurus too. So yeah, the Taurus full moon, for sure. We have some Venus aspects that we're going to talk about, some Pluto aspects, and all of this is playing into our intention. So I'm going to go ahead and put the chart up here. Right now I have the chart set for the time of the full moon. So I have this for Wednesday morning, November 5th, 8:18 a.m. Eastern time. So you can translate to your own time zone if you aren't where I am. And you can see the sun is at 13 degrees and 22 minutes of Scorpio. It's in the first house in this chart. So if you're not used to looking at the astrological wheel, and if this is overwhelming, look away, close your eyes, and just listen. If you can take it in bite-sized pieces to start to kind of get to know the language, that's good too. So the first house is this little slice of the pie here that has the number 1 on it. It's on the left side, which would be indicative of the eastern horizon. This is just around sunrise on Wednesday morning. And then the moon is directly across from it in the 7th house, 13 degrees, 22 minutes of Taurus. This full moon coming through in the sign of Scorpio. So we have, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio right now, right? It's in the darkest part of the year where the dark is growing and increasing, right? So we are in the place where within the dark half of the year, we are fully enveloped and fully embodying the darkness. Meanwhile, in the sign of Taurus, where the moon is going to be at the time of the full moon, is the solid, stable, fixed sign within the light half of the year, where the light is growing and increasing as fast as it possibly can. So we have the most amount of light abundant, okay? So we have an opposition here between the stable dark half of the year and the stable light half of the year, where on either end, the light or the dark are growing and increasing at the fastest rate that they are going to be within the zodiacal year and the zodiacal wheel, okay? This is all symbolically based on the quality of light within each of these, each of these zodiac signs. So we have embodiment here within the full moon. We have the stable embodiment of the dark, where the sign of Scorpio digs down. It looks into the nooks and crannies. It looks into the depth, and it wants to pull out all of the little teeny details, and it wants to observe all of them, right? There is the connotation of allowing things to fall away and of death and decay in the sign of Scorpio. We go to the sign of Taurus and the opposite sign, and we have the polar opposite. We have the place of Venus rather than the place of Mars. We have the place of the zodiacal springtime, where things are growing, things are proliferating, things are popping up out of the ground all over the place within the sign of Taurus, right? There is growth, there is proliferation, there is fertile energy. It's Venus in the springtime, in the light. So there is embodiment of both of these. So this is where, you know, depending on your perspective and where you are at, if you are fully within, let's say, the Scorpio dark, right? If within that, and if that's not a place that feels comfortable and feels safe to you for many, many different reasons why that could be the case, then it might not feel like this embodiment is very abundant, because maybe you feel like you're a little bit in the muck a little bit here with Scorpio, right? Maybe it's just not based on you and your own person and your own chart. Maybe it's not a comfortable place for you specifically. So maybe that's where it doesn't feel like it's totally abundant. So that's just pointing out where you can start to change and start to shift some of these things a little bit. Taurus is embodying growth. It is embodying abundance. It is embodying cohesion and coming together, right? Enjoyment, pleasure, the senses. The sign of Scorpio is embodying the dark, the falling away, the decay, the knowing that there's a little bit more, something a little bit deeper to what's going on. Again, both of them are solid, stable, fixed signs, immovable signs, right? So to me, that is embodiment. It's the feeling of really owning, really being, and really feeling whatever space you are in. And to me, both Taurus and Scorpio do that. So just within the full moon itself, we have that. At the time of, I'll go ahead and put the chart back up here. At the time of the full moon, the Venus, the host and or the ruler of the full moon, is going to be at where is it, 28 degrees of Libra in the 12th house. I like that because it's at the place of where the new moon was. So the new moon was at 28 degrees of Libra. So it feels like Venus, the ruler of both the new moon and the full moon, being at the place of the new moon at the time of the full moon, is giving an extra emphasis to the start and to the initiation and really to the whole process, because she's in charge of all of it. So to me, that is initiating another embodiment. She is really embodying the charge that she has within this lunar cycle, okay? She is really showing up large. She is getting ready to move into the sign of Scorpio. So she's going to move into that place where the sun is this week, shortly after the full moon. So she's going to move into those depths, right? So she's going to move from a place where she's very comfortable and she's very strong in the sign of Libra, where she can embody her Venus qualities. And then she's going to step into a place where she might start to embody something a little bit different. But it's still very real and very raw, okay? The sign of Scorpio can be very deep, it can be very intense, and this is where I bring in the word soulful, because Scorpio and Taurus too, I feel like both signs, but specifically Scorpio, only likes things that are real. It does not like fake, it does not like superficial. And to me, something that is soulful is sincere, it's authentic, and it does not want to be superficial or wishy-washy or, you know, just at the material level. It wants to move into something a little bit deeper. To me, that's Scorpio. That's the water sign of Scorpio. And we have the part within the opposition of the full moon, but then we have Venus moving into the sign of Scorpio. As she moves into the sign of Scorpio, she's going to work her way into that square with Pluto. All the planets that have moved into the sign of Scorpio have went through this square with Pluto. You can see that if I move this forward, I'm bouncing back and forth a lot here, but if we move forward into Saturday here, well, it's Friday into Saturday, we see Venus moving into the sign of Scorpio. It's in the first house here again, and Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius. So between Friday and Saturday, she's going to move into a square with Pluto. Soulful embodiment. Pluto does not allow for anything that is superficial either. Pluto changes and transforms things by breaking them down and destructing them. So it shows what is really there. We talk about Mars in the sign, we talk about the sign of Scorpio really digging deep and looking in the nooks and crannies and really being the investigator. When Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio and makes a square to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, she is looking down into the depths to see what is real, what is raw, and what is not going to work for her in the future. So she may be looking to see what her desires are, where she's being fulfilled, where she's not being fulfilled. Where do we need to, where is there not cohesion? Where is there not balance? Where is there not this real feeling of whatever we are experiencing? Soulful embodiment. I want real. I want raw. I don't want anything that is less than 100%, kind of like that. So this square and the intensity that it can bring and the charge and the empowerment that it can bring to the Venusian energy, to the feminine energy, to the embodiment energy within its own bright that is in this deep space. And now it's taking this deep look while it's looking at Pluto. It feels like we're just kind of doubling down on that, stepping into only allowing what is true, what is whole, what can withstand, right? So when we come into a contact with Pluto, anything that is not solid, anything that is not secure is going to fall away. So the things that are left are stable, they are sound, they are real. They are not going away. Embodiment, soulful embodiment. It feels like there's a lot of strong strength, but a lot of feminine energy at the same time here this week, okay? So we also have Uranus moving back into the sign of Taurus. I think the sign of Taurus is a very embodied sign, just being an earth sign of Venus. So there is embodiment there. And Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Sagittarius. I feel like Sagittarius, it's Jupiter's sign. There is a lot of authenticity and a lot of looking for things that are sincere. So again, looking for things that are true, things that are real, things that are things that feel like they fill us up, things that feel like we feel whole when we look at the thing, right? We don't feel like there's anything that is fake or anything that is wishy-washy. There's not a lot of room for that. There's only room for full expression this week. A full moon within its own right is a full expression, right? It's the height of the illumination of the lunar cycle before the light starts to fall away. We start at the new moon, the light slowly begins to increase until it gets to its full maximum brightness at the full moon, and then it slowly starts to decrease. And then we get down to the dark moon, make way into the next new moon. So soulful embodiment, really feeling into the things, really feeling it at a physical, visceral level, at a sensual level, all of the senses being activated, just really being within whatever the thing is here this week. It feels like a week where I want to take a deep breath with my hands, like actually like touching my being, right? Like I feel this breath entering my body, entering my being, kind of something like that. Yeah, so cool things. Deep, intense energy for sure. Reflecting on these things, reflecting on where it feels like we are embodied within our life, right? Where does it feel like you are able to fully express yourself within your life? Where does it feel like you are not? Where does it feel like you are dulled? Where does it feel like maybe you are dimmed? Or, maybe there's some second guessing. Where do you Stop and assess what you're going to say before you say it, or your actions. Where can you just act confidently and bravely within your full authentic expression? These are the type of things that I could see coming up with all of these embodiment pieces that are coming up here, right? And looking for that soulful expression, looking for that expression that you can really feel deeply. It's authentic, it is sincere, it is real, it is true. And you can sometimes notice that, right? Like when somebody comes up to you and they are just absolutely fully being themselves and not holding anything back, it can be really refreshing, right? But then when somebody is, sometimes you can also tell conversely when somebody is like trying to be something that they are not, and it just doesn't work out and it comes out like really clumsy, right? So yeah, you can see the difference there. So yeah, cool things. All right, I'm taking a look at the comments here. Yeah, back to the Sunday routines. Super excited myself here. Kim, yeah, what if soulful embodiment is abundant? Yeah, seeking it out. I like that. I've been moving more into question, like putting things into a question format rather than a statement, and it really opens things up. So yeah, I really like that too. And yeah, deep feelings there, Melissa. You know, Pluto, and anytime you have a planet coming into contact with Pluto, there is something that you just can't quite turn away from, right? And Venus has been in charge. She's had a lot to say. Like I said, she's got a lot to do with the lunar cycle here. She's moving from a place of comfort, a place of ease, and a place of familiarity into a place that might be a little bit more uncomfortable. A place where she has to act differently than she has been, right? She has to be a little bit more keen. She has to be a little bit more aware, and she starts to notice a little bit more. She starts to notice things that were in the shadows, things that she didn't necessarily notice before. It's a water sign. So there's emotions, there's connections, and there's that well of intuitive connectivity and creativity that comes along with water at the same time. So that's where she's able to start to shift her being, and how can I embody the space that I'm in. And then, yeah, so that's the astrology for the week. Lots of cool transits that we have. Again, there's a few other things that we didn't necessarily touch on this week, but there was a ton. Go back to the weekly video if you haven't already. So the cards that I got today that came up, oh, you're not able to see it. There we go. Okay, so it's the Queen of Presents. So this would be the Queen of Pentacles. This is my Nightmare Before Christmas deck that I've been playing with a lot lately. So it just changes the suits a little bit, but we have the Queen of Pentacles here, and we have the Ten of Candles, which is the Ten of Wands, okay? Both of these cards came up in the reverse position, the Queen and then the 10. So at first when I saw the reverse, I thought, well, that's interesting because I'm talking about like embodying and bringing things in. And they're in the reverse, which is usually either a letting go or a completion, or, you know, so maybe something that we're possibly resisting or not quite letting in or not quite accepting. So it could be that some of us are needing a reminder that you can embody this energy. You can embody the intensity. You can allow yourself to fully express all parts of you, even the ones that some people might turn away from or might shy away from. You can still be that part of you, Venus and Pluto. So the Queen of Pentacles is a card that is gracious, and it has abundance, and it's sharing, right? So the Queen is sharing her resources that she has. She is gracious, has abundance, and she is providing for others in the upright position. Another way of thinking of the reversed Queen of Pentacles could be that love and that graciousness and the resources that we have been giving others that feminine energy that we have been sharing, it is now time for us to give it to ourselves. And when you look at it in that way, we are taking what is around us and we are bringing it in. We are embodying it. We are bringing it within our being. We are sharing it with ourselves rather than sharing it outward. Now, the Queen is embodying that Venus energy when she is sharing it, but what is left for her within herself, right? Venus in Scorpio goes down into the depths, maybe goes into a place of silence. Maybe there's a place of self-reflection here with this aspect with Pluto. The full moon in the sign of Taurus can very much be about trying to find a place of light and a place of growth and a place of darkness within its own place. So how can we find light in a place of darkness? It starts here. It starts with ourselves. It starts with finding that light within us, embodying that light. So that's what I was thinking and contemplating on when I was meditating on the card that came up. Now the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Candles, often the 10, it represents some sort of completion. It represents something that has filled its purpose, right? Filled its cycle. It's time to move on to a new cycle, a new level, or maybe it's just totally ready to rest completely. Often, when we've gotten to that point, there's been a lot of work, there's been a lot of sacrifice, there has been triumph, but there's also probably been hardship. So by the time we get to the 10 sometimes, like there's a completion, but maybe we're also tired, we're ready to rest. We've been carrying a lot at the same time. So if there has been a lot of motivations, we feel like we've been juggling a lot of different things, maybe these two cards are inviting us to take time to slow down and remind ourselves what's within. And honestly, just fill the inner cup in some way. That might be looking at where the cup needs to be washed, right? Where is there something that is still sticking within the cup? Maybe we just need to add a little bit to the cup. Does it need to be put in the refrigerator, right? Kind of like that. Does it need to be warmed? What temperature do you like your cup to be? Kind of like that. Looking deeply at these things and then starting from our own space and allowing it to amplify outward, kind of like that. Very, very cool and interesting things coming through here this week. So really, what I want to do for our meditation this week is I want to bring energy within. When I see the Queen of Pentacles reverse, I'm wondering about the self-care that is needed. I'm wondering about the generosity that we share with others and that we put out into the world. How can we keep doing that and keep sharing that, but how can we bring it within ourselves too? So that way we are constantly like a well that is being replenished and is never depleted, right? So we still have the space to give, but we are refilling ourselves at the same time, right? There's a cycle that is going. So how can you bring this into your life this week? How can you embody a genuine, authentic energy of your own being, right? How can you be a little bit more you, right? All right, so we're going to get ready to move into the meditation portion, and I just want to bring a lot of energy into our being to set us up for whatever is coming forward to you this week. We're going to do a lot of breathing, which we always do, but a lot of intentionally feeling the air coming in and out, feeling into our body, feeling into our senses, and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the intention up for just another minute or two here. Soulful embodiment is abundant. Soulful embodiment is abundant. Where is soulful embodiment abundant? Where do you need to bring a little more soulfulness? Where can you put a little more effort into the space? All right, I'm going to go ahead and move the intention, and we have our intentional candle as always. It's white. I want to create a blank slate here for you all to create whatever space you need. So just as you can change the intention, you can metaphorically change the color of this candle and make it whatever color that feels right to you. So I'm going to light the intentional candle. As I do so, I'm going to recite the intentional phrase. I invite you to say it with me in any capacity that you are able to, whether that's out loud, writing it down, saying it in your head. Okay, so I'm going to light the intentional candle. As I do, the flame ignites. As the flame ignites, it begins to grow. As the flame grows, so does our intention. Soulful embodiment is abundant. Soulful embodiment is abundant. If we ask it like a question, then maybe we're going in detective mode, right? Venus in the sign of Scorpio. Sun's there too. Mars is just about done there. All right. Go ahead and find yourself a nice comfortable position if you haven't already. And if you're ready to go ahead and close your eyes, you may do so. If you're not quite ready to do so, that's okay. Attempt to soften your gaze, let your eyes just kind of fall wherever they naturally fall. And turn inward a little bit. Soulful embodiment is abundant. Now, as you start to turn your attention inward, your attention may naturally go towards your breath. You may have other thoughts that pop in and out. Do your best not to get too frustrated or perturbed by having to bring your attention back to the breath. Notice any thoughts that come in. Anything they may have to offer you at this moment, and then gently let them go, reminding yourself of your attention on the breath. As you begin to focus on the breath, you may naturally feel inclined to start to change or alter the breath. For this short little while, I encourage you to sit with the breath as you meet it. Whatever capacity, with whatever strength, whatever level of fulfillment that breath is giving you at this moment, just sit with it as it naturally comes. Perhaps the breath feels calm and fulfilling. Perhaps it feels slightly lacking in some way. Notice what you notice and allow the breath to keep flowing. Your breath naturally moves through your body and through your being at all times without you making any conscious effort of doing so. So, here at the beginning, all you have to do is pay attention to the breath. Pay attention to this process that naturally happens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every moment of every day. Notice how that breath moves naturally throughout your being. After you've taken a moment to sit with the breath where it's at, now you may begin to deepen the breath. As you deepen the breath, I invite you to set one simple goal. Allow your only goal to be that each inhale brings in slightly more air, slightly more energy than the breath that came before it. Similarly, on the exhale, allow your only goal to be that each exhale releases slightly more air and slightly more tension than the breath that came before it. Moving rhythmically through the inhale and the exhale. Simply reaching for each breath to feel slightly more accessible than the one before it. Move through the cycles of the inhales and the exhales, connecting deeper with each respiration. With each inhale and exhale, you connect deeper to your breath in your own inner space. Meanwhile, through the inhale and the exhale, you are connecting with the universe that is around you. With each inhale, you bring in air and energy from the space that is around you. Bringing in air and energy from the universe. Bringing in assistance, abundance, bringing in support. Bringing in oxygen that physically feeds your body. On the exhale, you release. Air moves from within your being, out your body, into the ethers around you. A part of you is coming from within your being, out into the universe. Inhale. Energy from the universe comes into your being. Exhale, energy from your being comes out into the universe. It's a cycle and a relationship that is occurring at all times. The cycle continues to repeat. And it repeats indefinitely as long as we are living this life. As you continue to breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling, connecting with the breath and embodying the energy of the breath, feeling it fill you up. Filling you up until you are at the height of illumination, just like a full moon. You are full and fulfilled and have everything that you need within you. For this very moment, you are content and your needs are met. This week, Venus goes through a transformation. She has been in charge of this lunar cycle. She initiated under the sign of Libra, where there is a social awareness and a desire for mental balance. Communicating our needs and our desires, sharing them through relationships, and relating to others through our connections. The full moon in the sign of Taurus says there is growth, there is prosperity, and there is space to enjoy. The senses are filled. We experience on many different levels. Where do you see growth coming out of the darkness in your own life? Dark does not mean bad. It does not mean negative. It does not mean ugly. It does not mean something undesirable. It simply is a space to pause, slow down, and reflect. A space to bring inward rather than project outward. So within the reflection, within the introspection, and the keen attention to details, within the yin half of the year, where can you find a solar yang expression? An outward expression, but of that feminine, receptive, reflective energy. It's a balance. Taurus is a feminine sign on the light half of the year. Meanwhile, as we are reaching into the heights and creating, growing out of the dark, Venus moves into that space of the dark and of the depths, that place of Scorpio. So as we reach up towards the height of the full moon, how can our roots be digging down deep at the same time? Feel yourself reaching up and expanding outward. Feel yourself taking up as much space as that full, beautiful moon is going to take up. Illuminating through her reflective light. Taking what she has been giving, the light of the sun, and dispersing it for all, sharing it in that feminine quality. And while you are in the space of the full moon, you feel roots and secure and a connection coming from your being, growing down deep into the ground, deep into the depths. Into the space that you really don't know exactly what exists there, but you know that you are strong and stable and you exist. Perhaps you feel a pull upward and a pull downward. That is the oppositional tension of a full moon. Perhaps you feel yourself stretching in both directions and taking up more space than you ever have. Perhaps you feel like you're stretching like a piece of gum. Continuously being molded into different shapes and sizes. Whatever it feels like, whatever you are experiencing, experience it fully. The space that you are in, step into it with a depth and an intensity and an unapologetic realisticness. Many of us spend time helping, cheering on, lifting up others. How much time do we spend giving that same love and attention to ourselves? Do we give ourselves the same grace as we give others? Do we dull ourselves down and shrink ourselves to allow others to take up more space? Where are you able to fully be your true, authentic self? So much that you just soulfully embody exactly who you are. And the space that you find yourself in, you mold right into it. And it molds right into you. Where do you need more of that? Where is the pull to be more soulful, to be more sincere, more connected, more in the space? Focus on that during this Taurus full moon. Let's end this meditation by taking in some nice full deep breaths and really feeling that air entering our lungs and expelling from our body. Take a nice deep breath in. Try to take it in through your nose if you can. If not, mouth works. Deep breath in and an exhale. Really feel the breath. Maybe breathe so loud much that you can hear an audible breath. One more deep breath in, really feeling and embodying that air coming into your being. And an exhale. Release and let go. Breathe in, feel the energy. Breathe out, release. There is a lot of space to step into that energy this week. Stop and remind yourself. Excuse me. Remind yourself that you can connect through your breath at any time, okay? You can slow down and you can embody the soulful connection, the clarity that comes, the understanding, and just the slowness, okay? The relaxing and the not, when we're not rushing, when we slow down to take a moment to process, things line up, things work, things flow, or we can find ways, okay? We can understand, we can see different perspectives, we can act from a whole, fully informed perspective rather than just acting rashly, right? We didn't talk about how Mars is going to opposite Uranus this week as it moves into the sign of Sagittarius. So that can be a boiling pot of water. Things can be explosive. We can act without thinking about the outcomes, you know, like the reactions that come from it. Kind of like that. So embody this energy though. As Mars and Uranus oppose each other, they also want to shift into a liberating role. They want to let go of what doesn't serve. They are not willing to hold on to anything that is only temporary, right? They are willing to discard. They have bravery, they have courage. This is a whole other thing that we're talking about at the very end that I wasn't sure we were going to even talk about. But there is willpower, there is strength, there is courage, there is the willingness and the ability and really just the courage to step into a space, to see things a little bit deeper, right? Looking into the shadows, but seeing the growth at the same time. Yeah, lots of cool things this week. So thank you for being in this space with me. I appreciate it as always. Thank you to everybody that came out for readings yesterday and had great conversation. I feel really fortunate and really blessed to be able to keep holding this space here and to be able to participate in other spaces as well. So yeah, thank you. I feel like what I'm stepping into right now is just really embodying a lot of gratitude and opening myself up with a sense of curiosity and a sense of wonderment and wanting to just understand more things. So yeah, whatever that means to you. So yeah, thank you everybody. I will see you next Sunday. We are back on track for our meditations. Weekly intention will be out Friday. Weekly video will be out Saturday, and then we will meet here Sunday. So yeah, thank you, take care, and have a good week, everybody. Bye now.